telling you, it never stops. It never stops. So, while we're doing this 5 minute walk in or
Yeah.
5 minute plus walk in, let me. Did you see what I put as like my latest grievance as far as like
Like
watching
what's
all
happening
these?
with
Yeah,
you
with game.
or
No, with gaming. With
oh
gaming.
with gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just I found myself after looking at the Redfall like gameplay reveal
Mm.
and putting it into context as far as like the rest of what we've been shown in in like the last 2 weeks of Summer Games Fest and all this other stuff. And like I kept asking myself, are you tired of games being like skinned
All s-
experiences?
all similar in some way or another.
I mean, in when I say games, I'm specifically talking about AAA because
Oh,
indie games like they're it's been like the fastest growing segment of gaming for like the
yeah.
last 5-7 years. Like people just come out and really blown people away. Hollow Knight and Dead Cell and Hades and all these things that are just like really refreshing experiences. But then you
Mm.
look at like AAA and it's like everything is like at the shows that have been happening for the last week and a half. There's been like everything is a first person shooter or a
Mm.
first person shooter horror game, a military shooter, and or literally just reskins of like the same damn experience, like the new Aliens game. The new Aliens game, which they showed like 10 seconds of gameplay of out of that whole thing they showed, and it looks like the Ascent reskinned to be aliens. And
Huh.
it, and it just it's like you put those like that little bit of gameplay, but the thing that really twisted my nipples, if you don't mind me saying, the thing that really got me taut is I was actually excited for that game Redfall because
Yeah.
if you remember the trailer from last year, it was like a hyper stylized, you know, vampire hunting. It had a zazz to it.
Yeah.
And from that first cinematic trailer, which good thing for those people that did the cinematic trailer because that was dope. I got the feeling that the game was gonna be like Sunset Overdrive, but with vampires, and that felt nice to my soul. But they bring it out, and it's literally just a first-person class-based shooter. That's it.
So
It
something like Apex or Overwatch, stuff like that?
I would say more along the lines of like Dishonored
Oh,
or
okay.
like or um what's that game everybody loves? Oh god, the one that looks like hand drawn, has really harsh edges. Um
Borderlands?
yes, there you go. Borderlands. I like it's just it's like Borderlands. Well, basically that's it. It's Borderlands. And I'm just like, is it that hard really? Like, because I know people are like, yeah, they want to cookie cutter stuff because it's, a big company. They don't want to take risk, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah. But it's like when you have that amount of money that like a big AAA developer has, do you not want to like step out on the edge just a little bit? Like, instead of spending 350 million on your next Call of Duty, do you not want to just be like, how about we give 50? We give 50 million to to a side team and let them do what they do, see what they come up with. It feels so bad to me. Or am I just a crybaby? Am I a crybaby?
Well, for AAA developers, they have I agree, they have so much money that they could do whatever they want, but it's because they have so much money that they're putting into these games. If it fails, then they're pretty much losing all of that,
Yeah,
if
but
that
that
makes sense.
no, I feel like that's the way they look at it most definitely. But then you look at the fact that it's like, well, then don't make such a big game that's gonna impact you to that extent. Like,
Yeah, I
you,
guess.
it's like like I said, if you're gonna spend 300 million plus on Call of Duty,
Mhm.
you trying to tell me you can't take 50 million and give it to a small team within your group that would be like work on something? And hey, being that we're going to take 2 years to do the next Call of Duty, let's divide these funds a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a crybaby. Maybe, but this is why I don't consider myself a gamer. I truly don't, because I
Really?
feel like I don't, because like, one, because I've had like people around me who are just like not, they're such gamers that it makes me feel like I don't stack up. Like, I have a friend who literally put like over 1 million hours into Gears of War.
Well, Gears of War was a really good game.
Yeah, but
Really good series.
I don't, 1 million.
A
Like,
million? That's
I'm not pumping those numbers up. Like, we looked at his playtime screen, and everybody in the room was a little bit disappointed in him. Like, like, it's like, yo, that's a big number, but bro, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with your life? And so, yeah, we have, there's that, and I don't know. It feels. Let me, you know what? Let me message Jammy real quick. It's because yeah, even though he's not going to be here, let's see. You go live. There we go. So yeah, it's just I don't know. Like I said, sometimes I don't feel like a gamer because I have so many. And you know what it is? It's not that I'm not a gamer. It's that I'm a bereaved gamer. I think that's what it is. I've been in the game long enough that some of the
Mhm.
stuff that I see going on now actually like angers me. And that anger just makes it so like the things that people are like, fine, just wait to the next thing, or I'm just like, no, it's a social injustice. I turned into a friggin' cop, taking it way too seriously. But yeah, I don't know. It's just I saw so many sci-fi first-person shooters, and so many like basically like Dishonored reskins, or and I'm
Mm.
not even I'm leaving the fact that Sonic looked like a Unreal Engine tech demo in a like 20% finished game, or things that are like just all that stuff out, or like you know the fact that Final Fantasy 84 or whatever the hell is coming out.
Seven.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. The 84th remake of Seven,
Right,
and
right.
it's just that's just thing. But let's not get heated. Let's go ahead and start up the show. So they won't be able to hear us for the next couple of seconds. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Here we go. Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. We are at the 82nd episode of the Made in Dreams podcast. I'm your host, Mighty Vicious. The Friday curse has struck us again as Jammy James will not be joining us for the show live because he's basically sitting in a hospital parking lot. Hope everything works out.
Mm.
It's not as serious as I think I just made it sound. I'm sorry, everybody. He's not. He's not dying. No one's dying. It's just, yeah. It kind of happened with like 20 minutes to go before we went live, and I was actually holding off on things to share a moment with him, but I'll have to hold that surprise, which is those who follow me on social know that we received this, but as you can
Ooh.
tell, I have not opened it. I haven't removed anything from it because I don't want to just post on the internet how I want an MP. I actually wanted to share the fact that Jammy and I want an MP together, and so I wanted to at least open it on the stream with him. So we're just gonna hold off on that um, and move on from there. So what are we doing today? Well, what we're doing today is we have someone that I reached out to, I want to say like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I'd
about a
say that.
Yeah, about a year and a half ago, and I was like, "Bruh, I need you," and he was like, "I'm working on some stuff. I'll get back to you." He got back to us, ladies and gentlemen. We have Jhaycee Caranoo. Is that
Okay,
it?
no, oh,
Caranoo. See,
yeah.
he's flipping me out.
It's
I've had
alright,
too
it's
much
alright.
stress. Caranoo. There we go.
Yeah.
So,
Everybody gets it wrong the first
yeah,
time.
I'm sure this is like my third time, but we'll just keep going with that. So, like, um, I guess being that we don't really need to kick around anything back and forth right now, I just want to get into your origin story. Tell the people who you are.
Yeah, so, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm JC Art. In Dreams, I'm JC with 4 E's, I believe, or 3. I've been doing stuff in Dreams since it first came out in 2019, so almost, what is it, 4 years,
Yeah,
right? The 3 almo yeah, almost 4 years.
yeah.
Uh, I really haven't had any background in 3D stuff before Dreams. I've pretty much just went straight into it because of a video I saw from Elka Gaming on his Avatar project. So, yeah, that's pretty much my origin story with
So,
Dreams.
what has your journey been like as far as using dreams? Like, you have as far as I understand, you have a pretty interesting first case use point for dreams. So I'm gonna give you time to shoot us straight on that.
Yeah, so when when I first started using Dreams, like, saw it as a way for me to express myself more because before I started delving into Dreams is I was working in the film industry for, like, 2 years as a lighting guy, and I studied it for pretty much my whole high school senior year,
All right.
and just going from that into Dreams was, like, a very big leap because doing stuff in 3D versus doing stuff in film is, like, it is very different, but I was somehow able to merge both sides into helping myself, like, create cool looking environments, which took some time to get used to all the Dreams tools. Took me, I would say, maybe 2 months of straight, like, creating dreams every single day to get to the point where, like, I was confident in my abilities and creating all these massive worlds that you've seen on Instagram or Twitter that I've
Yeah.
posted. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to switch up this screen real quick, which you know we had to we had to mess around with, but I want to show the people what you were working on
Mm.
as far as your cinematography, where we start before we go into actual dreams. Um, So, and I apologize for how janky this live edit is going, but it had to happen
It's
because
alright.
uh yeah, we had things going. But so are you out of like working in film? Was that just a step for you, or like, I guess.
Uh, well, yeah, as of now, I'm, like, out of film because working in the industry, it is very taxing because of the long hours and, like, how much energy you spent working on films.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right as of now, I'm pretty much out of it, but if things go well, like, in the direction that I'm heading, I could be working back in film, but probably on the 3D side of film rather than the actual live stuff, so
I'm just gonna come out and say that I'm sad to hear that. That
yeah, because I know you're a filmmaker too.
like, you're right. You have to be all in. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something that you can just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this a little bit. You have to be completely in because it is so taxing. It's
Mhm.
like, just like with working with gaming and game design. It's like you got to your whole focus has to be in it because that's your life now. So
Yep.
I get it, but I did want to talk to you about that because it's you definitely have the eye. Like,
Yeah.
you have the eye for
Thank you.
cinematography, and
Yeah.
I I'm gonna talk about it. I don't care if you don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it at some point
No, we
during
could
this
talk
show.
about it. I'm
Yeah,
totally fine with it. I still have friends who are pursuing film, so
indeed. So, with your education, like,
yeah.
uh, you used your portfolio to get into school, and like a dreams portfolio.
Yeah, so to get into the 3D school that I'm currently at, I used a full Dreams portfolio, so everything I showed in that portfolio was all made in Dreams, all made by me, all from scratch.
Did you get any type of feedback on the portfolio, or was it just like an acceptance? They didn't care what you used.
Uh, that I'm not actually too sure. I definitely didn't, like, ask for feedback. I more so just, like, handed it in because during our orientation at school, they told us that there was, like, a long wait list, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming I got in because of my art skill, but
Well, I
I
mean, you
still
deserve to, obviously, as people are seeing, your time lapse of what you're building, and it's fantastic. I just wondered, or I wanted to ask that because there are in past episodes that we've had, people have been worried that them using dreams would be a negative because it wasn't a
it
industry
wasn't like
standard.
yeah.
And so people have expressed worry about it. So I just wanted to bring up that question just to point out that, what I said at the time when that was a worry was they don't care what you use
Mhm.
as long as you get the job done. And
Yeah,
congratulations
I've
on getting into school.
thank you. Yeah, I have heard you say that. It is true in some way. They don't care, like, what exactly you use as long as you can get it done with, like, high quality, but on the other side, like, if you wanna actually pursue this industry as an artist,
Oh, yeah.
there are yeah, you do have to start getting to more traditional stuff because Dreams right now isn't traditional. It's more of just, like, freelance indie stuff, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's if you get a job at a place that uses like Unreal as their as their like main thing um, basically in their setup, and you can't use Unreal, yeah, that's a hiccup. But
Yeah,
there is an industry in which Dreams works incredibly well, which is what I would expect anyone who's trying to use it professionally to do, which would be concept art, which
yeah,
and that's where you can use whatever you want as long as you produce the image.
yeah,
So yeah, but yeah, definitely, it's like if they want you to be proficient in something else and you're not, that can keep you from getting a job. Yes.
Yeah.
So I, as we go through and people can see the um, basically your work in dreams and these time lapses, like I guess you said it was Elka and a video you saw. Like, did you know about dreams before that? Like, did you, or was it just like you saw Elka and then it was like, oh, well, that looks fun. I'll use it.
Yeah, it was pretty much just that because I am a big fan of Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
So, just like one day on YouTube, while I was scrolling through YouTube, his video came up on my feed. So I clicked on it. I saw that he was. It showed like his progress from 1 day to 100. I think that's the video I
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
And then after seeing that, I like looked more into what he was using, and then that's how I saw that Dreams was on a PlayStation, which I had. So seeing that like software be so available to me, I like
Yeah.
went for it. And then after playing around with it, like when it came out for the first few weeks, I went all in. I bought my uh was it the VR stuff so that I can also sculpt with it. Yeah. I pretty much just went all in after that.
Word. So, eh, have you tried mixing the two? Because I'm not gonna leave you alone about the cinematography. Uh, have you tried mixing the two, like doing live action with dreams, like
uh
composite it in?
no, I've never tried anything like that because I don't know much about compositing or any like editing stuff. Like I know basic editing. I know like I've edited a few short films, but stuff
Yeah.
as advanced as that, not so much. But I have thought about, like, creating short films within Dreams, but those also take a lot of time and effort to actually produce good work,
Yes, they
because
do.
how I like to see all my works are if it's not good, I won't post it, and if it's not going as I want it to go, then I pretty much just stop working on it and sort of get like an art block because I'm constantly always trying to improve on what I have previously done. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I still sort of have that mindset.
I as well have that
Yeah.
mindset, and I'm trying to lose it. I'm trying to let it go, to be
Mm,
honest, because it seems from what everyone is telling me, like you need to go ahead and just eh, put it out. Like,
yeah,
just like if I understand it for the portfolio. You're like, yeah, I'm not going to put some crap piece in there or what I consider to be crap, but
yeah.
yeah, like I'm trying to get to that point where it's just like, it's failing upwards. Like if it's kind of like the mindset I feel like people are telling me. But yeah, never mind that. Never mind that. So I am gonna come back to that cinematography thing. I'm not gonna let it die. Since you've been in dreams, I guess are you more of a creator than a player, or do you have an even mix of both when you're dealing with dreams?
Okay. Well, to be just to give like a
That
simple
did.
answer.
I don't want the simple answer. We got like an hour, bro. What
Yeah,
happens?
just for the sake of it, I am more of a creator than a player. I'm not a player because it's just like the stuff that's being produced, I'm not too very into.
All
Like,
right.
I don't mean to say that the games
Hey,
are
hey,
bad.
don't start apologizing. Just say what you mean. Mean what you say. Come
I
on.
don't I don't hate them. I just don't enjoy them because it's not my type of game. I like first person shooters. I like MMOs. I play a lot of Overwatch and Lost Ark. That's pretty much my main games.
Okay.
So seeing indie stuff like this, like I don't even play like a lot of indie games. Like Journey, I haven't played. I haven't played. What other big indie games are there? Well, pretty much, yeah. I haven't played anything indie. So
Well, have you?
Yeah,
I
just the
mean,
games
you
that
Dreams
just
is
the games
indie.
and games is yeah. Well, I use that to create stuff. I don't play on it. I don't play games on it.
He don't play
So
games, ladies and gentlemen. Not he doesn't play games with dreams. All right. He's out here doing it hardcore, out here gangbanging on these sculpted streets. No, I'm just playing. So, guys, don't mind me. As I've told you before, or if you've been keeping up with the saga, de la Vicious, it I'm in severe pain. So, so, so don't mind me if I seem to go off the tip today. My shoulder is this is the one where I have a fractured collarbone. So I'm kind of just it's like limp over here on the desk, and every now and again you'll see me wince. Um, but someone in chat, the Tim, was said, "Wait, did you sculpt by pouring stones in a mold?" And
uh
it's from the reel that I'm showing of your work. And
yeah.
yes you did. Yes you did. That is what you did.
Yeah.
Every time I see someone's little technique like that, I'm like, God, it's so genius. It's so genius. And here I am trying to make steps, and I'm like, why do these steps look so bad? I have no technique. But do you deal with VR? Like,
Like the actual VR thing?
yeah, yeah, the PSVR or I guess maybe even just moves. Do you like
Yeah,
do?
for all my environments, I exclusively use moves. I have tried creating environments with the VR headset, but I found out that I do get very nauseous when wearing them for short periods of time. So,
Yeah,
I pretty much wasted money on buying a VR headset, but it's good to have, you
yeah.
know.
I mean, there's I can't wait for PSVR 2 because I'm expecting it to read better than the moves, to actually
Yeah.
be more accurate, because my moves just don't work. I don't they could be busted, who knows. Or it just they have trouble, like, no matter what room or light or whatever, but I'm like really looking forward to PSVR 2, um, just to use that new technology. And
Yeah.
Falcarich, he's fine. He's fine. Jamie just couldn't make it in the last minute because he did have to go to the hospital, but nobody's dying, nobody's like super hurt. He just had to go to the hospital. So, and he tried to join from his car, but he couldn't because the phone just kept messing up. He couldn't get it to be stable. So yeah, everything is fine as far as that goes. He just yeah, it was just a last minute thing. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, well, the person that's in the hospital is fine as well. It's just there was an incident, but it's being resolved. But yeah, back to JC. So let me ask you: did you want to jump right into your live demo? Is that something you wanted to throw out there, or do you want to field more questions? Because I have more.
Uh, yeah, I could feel more questions.
All right, all right. So, uh, with your environmental art process, like, do you use references for what you do, or are you creating, you know, fresh off of the dome and just gray box and go?
Well, when I first started, I didn't use any reference because, yeah, I did just wanna try to, like, just get everything just from my mind, see how imaginative I could be,
Mm-hmm.
but after a while, I s after doing it for so long, you start to lose that sort of creativity because you start to build up a sort of niche, which I'm trying
Mm.
to avoid. So I did start looking at a bunch of concept art from different artists and trying to take like little bits of pieces out of each concept art and try to apply that to all my future environments that I've done. So before all this tavern stuff that I've been recently doing, I've only been doing like nature environments rather than like buildings. and
Yeah.
before that, I even tried to delve into, like, more modern industrial stuff, which needed a reference because I haven't ever tried to do stuff like that. So, definitely, like, starting off, it's good to just see what you have in your creative mind to see where you can grow, but then afterwards, you should definitely be looking at references because, like, sculpting just from what you think looks right isn't always the case. So,
Do you see your style as stylized or as like realism?
I'm trying to go for more of the stylized look. Like, when I
Okay.
first started in dreams, I, like, tried to go more realistic, but
Mhm.
after doing it again for so long, I started building up my own art style. So,
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah,
am trying to go towards that.
because it definitely has a stylized feel to it, but it also has like some of the some of the detail that you put into it gives it almost that like realism look to it. And I'm not
Mm,
sure if I'm explaining that anywhere close to right, but yeah, it's so interesting to see. I mean, just the process that we have on screen,
yeah.
because you it seems like you go in and you detail like not by asset but by structure. Is that something that you just feel allows you to work faster, or like, or maybe I'm once again not describing it correctly? Because like whenever I see someone working in like uh with like a certain level of detail, they'll
Mhm.
like they basically break down a scene into like almost each asset, and then they'll detail that individual asset. Whereas as I watched a lot of your time lapses, it
Yeah.
seems like you have this like this overarching texture that you're going for, and it's like you build it and then you start like you'll just detail the whole thing. It
Yeah, well, whenever I do stuff like this that's on screen,
mm,
uh, I mostly care about what is seen on camera rather than the whole asset itself. So, as you've seen on screen, there's, like, I just surfaced or textured just the front part, and
yeah.
everything else is, like, just blank because I only care about what's seen from the camera's perspective rather than, like, going into that game as a player. That makes
S-
sense?
Smarter, not harder. Makes perfect
Yeah.
sense to me. I love it. I love it. What's something that you say that you use the most in dreams? Like, what's the thing that you, or is there something that you feel is like specific to dreams that puts it above more traditional, I guess, 3D programs?
I guess just having the flexibility of, like, sculpting without having to deal with all the intricacies of traditional software. Like, if I wanted to sculpt more natural stuff, it's a lot more easier in Dreams rather than, like, on Maya
Yeah,
because it does feel like you're sculpting with a chisel and painting with a paintbrush
yeah.
versus, like, using a mouse and keyboard, which doesn't feel all too right.
No, it doesn't, does it?
No.
It makes it's one of the reasons where I always say like dreams is just amazing for that, because it does feel like a art program made by artists,
Mhm.
like, and that's actually intuitive as opposed to a program made by programmers theorizing what one would need in art.
Yeah.
It like
That's
it's
right.
yeah, it's like not you're not a it's not like they got some mathematician in the background to try to articulate what art is. Like dreams, it actually feels, whether or not you have skills that you need to develop, to pull off what you want,
Yeah.
it's just a better baseline. So, what is your overall goal with using dreams? Like, do you see yourself eventually transferring into more traditional things, or are you aiming for that conceptual art, aspect of creation?
Um, so I have already started to transition from starting off with dreams to going into traditional art.
Hmm.
That answered that question. But sorry, what else did you ask?
Well, more so, it's like if you like, what is the profession you're aiming for?
Oh, I see. Just like working in games as a traditional 3D artist rather than using dreams to achieve that goal.
With what you've gone over in school up to this point, do you feel like it's given you a leg up in that understanding? Like, do you find it easier now to use traditional tools?
Uh, Definitely, actually, surprisingly, because you'd think, using a PlayStation controller, like, won't help at all in school where you have to use a mouse and keyboard and the whole UI is completely different, but definitely using Dreams has helped me a lot in school. Like, right now, I'd say I'm ahead in most of my classes
Mm.
because I have had the background of using Dreams to create art. So, Dreams definitely does help if you decide to go to the traditional route.
Do you? I guess it's. I'm trying to find the right way to ask this question because do you, outside of the obvious uh, limitations
Mm,
with it, with dreams as it's locked to console and stuff like that, do you see a place for it in, like, if it were to be or if it were to become a uh,
industrialized sort of
yeah, like a
thing?
piece, like if it were to become like a PC thing, like, do you think that it has a place in amongst the other traditional like softwares?
I definitely think it has a place, more so for the sculpting aspect because, again, just like it's just like using a chisel and, like, it's easier to sculpt natural looking stuff in Dreams rather than in Maya on a
Yeah,
computer. But there are, like, because there are traditional programs like, was it 3D Modeler, Adobe 3D Modeler?
yeah,
There's already stuff like that happening, so
which
I'm not
actually has developers from that worked on Dreams.
that I did not know, but
I
I
didn't either.
definitely think I definitely think Dreams has its place in terms of just sculpting in the industry.
Hmm.
If only we could, like, export all of that, then it'd definitely be a game changer.
Yeah. Well, last time I mentioned Modeler because I was like, anybody else see this thing that's showing up on Twitter that looks like Dreams only is on PC? And when we talked about it on the show, some of the devs that, or a dev that worked on both, was like, "Hey, glad you brought it up." Like, yeah, some of the people who are working on this actually came over from Media Molecule. I was like, "Oh."
Wow.
So that's interesting. I'll see if I can get some of them on because that would be pretty interesting. Because I feel like there's a place, even
Mhm.
but I don't know. Like we've had the conversation tons of times, and I'm not about to get into the. I'm not about to get into the whole, PC version of Dreams conversation. That's not where I'm headed. But I do feel like there's a place, and even if it's not Sony and Molecule, I'm glad to see that someone is expanding it
Yeah.
because, it's like Modeler is still not Dreams.
Mm.
It's the sculpting aspect of Dreams, which you say will carry over. I still think there's a place Like if you're an indie developer, if you had the ability to use Dreams fully on PC, like I personally can't think of an all-in-one better tool that could be used. But for now, let me ask you, is there
Yeah.
something that you're working on within Dreams that's kind of like your opus? Or is it just your stepping stone to get to where you're going?
As of now, no. I usually just go back to dreams whenever I have like an idea that I want to like replicate within traditional softwares. If that
Mm,
makes sense.
yeah,
So I use it more like as a
blueprint.
sketchbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, blueprint sketchbook.
Okay, I get that. Oh no. Okay, well, I'm gonna ignore that. Ow. All right. Well, you wanted to venture into doing like a live sculpt demo. Did you want to kick over to that?
Yeah, I could start doing that.
All right. Well, let me deal with all the random live changes that I'm gonna have to make here. But let me see here. Bam. And then we're going to do this number. Bam. And then we're going to get back to this screen. And we have to drop some sizes here. Okay, apparently whatever I'm changing there wasn't the right thing. Good, good. I'm glad. Sorry for the live edits, everybody. It's just the way it had to be. There we go. And we'll shrink that down. There we go. Put your name front and center as we're going to be watching you do what need to be done. Am I on the right screen? Am I seeing the full thing? Am I seeing what's happening? Are you moving
Uh,
yet?
no, not yet.
Okay, okay. Just there we go. There we go.
Yeah, now I'm moving.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So, what are you working on for us today?
So what I'm gonna be doing is creating another stylized environment like I've done in the past with all the stuff that I've posted on Twitter. So I'm basically just gonna be going over all the different steps that I take and like all the intricacies of color grading and lighting afterwards.
Okay.
And again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them as I try to make something good looking for you guys.
All right. All right. Well, I'm sure I'll have some questions. I'm sure. I'm sure that'll be in the game. Um, Also, it's just refreshing to see moves work, so that's always good. Hmm.
So I've already can you hear me well? I had to
Yeah.
move my microphone.
Oh yeah, you're fine. We can hear you.
Okay. So I've already done the blocking, basic blocking. I've also set up my camera, so this is gonna be the final composited image when
Okay.
it's done. I've also done some basic lighting, just having a key so that I know where my shadows are and what to look out for. I'll definitely be changing this towards the end, but this is what I'm working with right now. The mountains I got off of the Dreamerverse, so it's just basic mountains. I thought they look cool, and that I think they'll fit the scene very nicely. The clouds, I spent just a few seconds creating them, just using the curve tool, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
curve shape, and just like smearing them into a cloud looking thing just by doing stuff like this. And then again, raising the looseness and impasto to my liking
See
and tinting this white and giving this some waxiness because clouds, they're not completely opaque. They do have this like subsurface scattering going on to them.
here. Mm-hmm.
but because of my shadow detail, you can't really see them in the far distance. So
I, so I love the fact because you are really speaking about your setup
yeah.
as a cinematographer. I
Oh,
love
really?
it. Yeah,
Am I?
the way you're breaking down how you've set up everything, it's like someone preparing a shot. And and
Well, I
I'm
guess
happy to see it.
some. Yeah, I guess uh, my background in film is helping me with this because yeah, I do like to explain what I'm doing when I'm doing it, and I guess when I was working in film as a cinematographer for a bit, I did enjoy also like pointing out where lights are and explaining them to other people as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We haven't had it yet. Like, haven't had someone explaining like that. But yeah, this is a perfect breakdown of like this stuff like this helps me because I haven't translated my ability to sketch like
Yeah.
into dreams, and that's part of the reason why I have so much difficulty with it is because like I don't gray box.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, like I just go same thing as with like me not going from I don't use references for
Oh, I see.
anything. It's just I'm like I've seen it with my eyes. I'll just create it. But what that does is it leads me to this that thing you were talking about where you're like you almost get bored with it,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like in drawing if you've drawn someone in a certain position like a million times, then you kind of get bored with drawing that position and wondering
Yeah.
if there's something you're like lacking. So let's check with chat. I'm still waiting for someone to crank out TikTok memes. I can see some funny animations working well on that platform. Yeah, it would. It would. And I mean, I'm just now but getting into the I just now started paying attention to TikTok because I'm an old dust blood. I don't I'm just like I didn't care about it, but that is a great place because I mean, especially for people who have complained about not getting enough eyes on their work or on their YouTube videos or stuff like that. Like there are things that I've put together in dreams that I'll put up on TikTok, and I know this may not sound viral to some of you, but videos that I'll put on YouTube and maybe get like 30 views, I'll put up on TikTok and get like 800, and I'm a nobody. Like that's I mean, I'm just being brutally honest here. I'm a nobody. I'm not really that big in any community as far as like the dreams community for what I do yet because I haven't shown y'all what I do. But which is going to change soon. I was hoping Jammy would be here to talk about that, but yeah, so for someone who like me, who hasn't really become an entity within the thing, I say yeah, go to TikTok. Go to TikTok. Like if you want to get more eyes, if you can get 800 views and like you've literally posted like I post maybe like once every I think between my first set of posts, which were random and over the course of like 2 years, like one video at a time, I maybe post now like once every 3 months. So I have no traction. I don't have followers. But even without followers, without subscribers, you can have 800 views. So if you haven't looked at TikTok yet, you really should. Especially if you want your ideas, your stuff to get out there. It's not as great as having the unlimited time of like YouTube, but it's also not something that buries your work. because of how big you are or not big at all on said platform. So, uh, oh, I'm trying to catch up with chat now. I was talking for a really long time. I'm sorry. Okay, so you're while I'm doing that,
Mhm.
you're basically just going through and framing everything that you've gray boxed,
Yep,
like framing out the main thing.
that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm building up the foundation of each and every building that I've gray boxed.
Are you creating new? Okay, well I can see you're cloning. When you
Yeah.
clone, are you um, do you ever use live clones? So like one change. Sorry guys, I'm gassy. I'm trying not to burp into y'all's ears. Uh, but do you ever use like live clones so that like if you add detail to one frame, it details all the frames? Or would you
Um,
rather attach that or do that afterwards to give variety?
I'd rather do that afterwards, mainly because like I also forget that live cloning is a thing, and I don't use it very often.
Me
But
neither.
right now, like all these frames are all in one sculpt, so
Mm-hmm.
they're not all individual. Like I can just move all of them like this.
I was going to ask about that later as I saw you get further into it because I was wondering if you build all in one sculpt or do you separate it in like is it easier for you to separate things like the framing has this, the walls of the building are this, but they're all different layers if you will.
Yeah, they're pretty much all different layers, just like painting in Photoshop or creating an asset in traditional 3D.
Do you find it have you ever ruined a work by like accidentally clicking on and like changing something but I guess displacing something else you didn't notice? Cuz I've done that.
Never. I don't think I've ever had anything done like that because I am very cautious and I do like as soon as I get to this point where I start detailing everything, I sort of have in my mind like I know what's going to be the final image. So if I notice something's out of place, like I can easily spot it. So if I do something like that where I like accidentally move something, it is like an easy fix and a quick fix.
Yeah,
Hello.
cuz I've made all sorts of mistakes working in things and
I'm on a
being
pod.
outside of. Yes. So, I've made a bunch of mistakes as far as like putting things, grouping them in like the wrong sculpt, and I'll try to delete something and I won't notice that it deleted like half of something.
Yeah.
It goes ape with me, but that's because I am still learning things, and my I would say a lot of my artwork has always been like not in dreams, but you know in like art school as well as things I do for myself are like character designs. Like
Mhm.
that's more of what I would say would be my specialty. And so like working and not having any history of knowledge of working in 3D other than failed attempts at Blender and ZBrush and all that stuff. Yeah, it's just I'm not versed in like completely versed in like thinking of it as a whole. So like a lot of my stuff has still been character design and trying to get that under my belt because it's
Yeah.
like where I'm most comfortable. Are you on TikTok?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't post on TikTok, but I do like use it to look at memes and other funny videos.
Nice.
Yeah.
The best way. So, but yeah,
Exactly.
here I am. I caught up. Um, and my thinking is once some people have low effort funny things go viral, others gonna try it too and see how great it is. Yeah, Yeah, see, it's setting the trend. It's like this is a way you can create this thing, and I mean, I feel like that's why Media Molecule has a TikTok is to try to create that. But then again, it could just be them being on a social media that they know other people are on. So you never know. But it's definitely a way to get people's things out there. Duckonomics, they added the clone liven tool, and I use it all the time for level design. Yeah, I haven't spent enough time with it. I know somewhat of what it can do, but also, yeah, there's I think I've seen a bunch of people use it. I've never really gotten into it to really understand even what it does, other than what I think it does. Uh, yeah, but I think MM's content is not necessarily made in a virally way. I don't. I don't want to. That makes me want to go into a different conversation because I feel like being viral isn't. It's kind of like gaining fame. Like you never really know what's going to be viral. Just like you don't know which of your creations is going to make you famous. It just happens. Now, you know, you can capitalize on a thing, but I don't know. Maybe like I said, I'm a dust blood, okay? I don't know exactly how the youths, I don't know how the kids do it these days, but that's how it always felt to me, which is why I always felt like people who aim at fame get so disheartened when it takes time to actually gain it, instead of just creating, doing what you love, and it comes naturally. Because most people who have it are like, hey, what did you do that made you famous? If it's not like they developed some type of machine or a program or something like that. A lot of them are just like, yeah, I was just working on something, and it turns out people liked it. That's it. And then there's no going back once you get that switch. No, you're eyeballing some pretty
Detailed stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
I I definitely have like a sort of hate towards the precision tools in Dreams,
Oh,
like
tell us
the
about it.
grid snap and the what is it called? This precise move.
Precise move? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those because they don't do what I want them to do or what I expect of them to do.
Huh.
Yeah,
And,
so
and
most of the time I
what
just
do you want
eyeball
them to
everything.
do?
Um, so let me just do an example.
The Tim said the eyeballing. I am blown away. I'm such a grid slave. Not a grid slave.
Okay, so you can sort of see the grid, right?
Yeah.
And how I just place this block. If I want to move it on the grid, it's like can't be very precise, especially if I try to change all these increments.
Yeah.
And this precise move tool, it also it should be going along like this axis rather than this made up axis for some reason. Like if I were to do this in Maya,
Mm-hmm.
if I turn on like this similar tool, it
Yeah.
would actually follow the shape of the geometry rather than this random thing.
Uh, let's see here. I'm gonna let him know. Actually, as soon as once he's back, because yeah, I mean
Sorry.
you. Yeah, no problem. So chat is saying Notre Dame said you can actually change the grid angle to fit that shape. Falcarich said realign the grid.
Yeah, so if you do that, See, I just realigned it. It's not realigning with the actual grid. You have to actually go into the shape and do that,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't actually change the whole asset itself. Because right now this is an asset.
Mm-hmm.
If I go into sculpt mode, I can then realign it to the grid space. But let's say you have like a full building like this,
Yeah.
and you accidentally build it off of the grid. You actually like sculpt it off of the grid like this.
Mm-hmm.
You can't actually change it. And if you try to do that with the asset, like the actual asset, if you try to realign it, oh, well, it did that. But most of the time, for bigger assets like this, it doesn't work too well with me.
Uh.
And for the precise move tool,
Mm-hmm.
I did have it at local space. So let's just do that. Oh, well, now it's working. But yeah, before that, when I was like doing that
Yeah.
explanation, it wasn't working how I wanted it to work.
And that's why I love this show, because you learn something new every time, and I'm learning for the first time. So, but yeah, like
Yeah, but I just try not to deal with the headaches of it all.
yeah, just
I'd rather
your
just eyeball
eyeballing
it
is
myself.
yeah, your eyeballing is dead on. So, might you don't have to deal with old peasant tools. Uh,
Well, it's not it's not because of that. It's because I
I
also
know, I'm
like to
just
see
joking.
everything as I build it naturally because not everything is like precise unless you're actually going for that sort of look.
Hmm.
Like for this tavern, it's I'm thinking it's built like before the ages of rulers and stuff like that. So everything is like sort of off angle.
Yeah,
Everything's more like basic mistakes.
yeah, I like that, because that's what I was actually about to bring that up, because just eyeballing it, it does give it more of a, in my opinion, it gives it more of like the human aspect. Like its hands built it, not, a machine where every
Yeah.
angle is like the perfect cut, the precision slice. And Notre Dame said, wait, hold on. Duckonomics, stare into the grid long enough and the grid will stare back. It's true. I've had that happen. Let's see. Falcarich, realign the grid to the object, not align the object to the grid. All right. And Notre Dame said, so the grid can actually align to the sculpture instead of the sculpture aligning to the grid, but the free form often looks better. Yeah.
Yeah. Freeform
So,
does look better.
and Falcarich said, I agree. Grid is really more if you to logic the sculpts and not really, or to align the sculpts, not really to for free form. Oh yeah. So
And I'm not saying like using the grid or the precise move tool is like a bad thing. It just doesn't work for me. Like
yeah,
I'm still
everybody
able
got
to
their style.
create stuff. Yeah, I'm able to create stuff that I like without using them. I respect people who can use them. I wish I could use them because it would definitely help in some situations, but yeah, fortunately I can't. It takes too much time out of just creating, just trying to realign everything. Uh,
What kind of road or street are you looking to create for this?
I'm looking to create a brick street along. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Brick street just along here, going towards the tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing too fancy.
Bricks are like a cobblestone. You gonna cobblestone it for us?
Yeah, I can try doing that for you. I'll use that molding technique. I'll see if I can use that.
Ah, yeah. Show people that delicious molding. This- Grid is good if you need to apply logic to sculpts, like what John is doing with Tren. I'll take your word for it. You said the logic, and then I just completely just just zoned out. That's this is the way this is the way it works. Um, but I'm mad Jammy isn't here because I don't know if y'all been keeping up with him on his Twitter, but he um, he's been getting into logic lately. Got old Tap James going on. He's was like, yeah, I can do a UI now and blah 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 blah. He, I was hoping he'd be on here to gloat about it a little bit. Notre Damon, I'd be willing to come on and share some basics and general skills, but I don't know if my skills qualify as masterclass worthy. I mean, you could come in and do like a jack of all trades masterclass, which I just found out. This is a little off topic while he's working, but I just found out that the jack of all trades is a master of none actually isn't, like, people use that to, like, as a bad thing, but the actual whole quote is actually supposed to be kind of a diss to the person who's a master of one, because the full quote is a jack of all trades is a master of none, but often better than a master of one. I had never heard the full quote before. And so yeah, like when people use that, they just know that it's not a slight pejorative. So yeah, that's I've always liked that because I personally always thought that the jack of all trades was better, but no one agreed. And they would always say that quote to me, and I was just like, oh, well, now I should. If I had known this prior to this very moment, I could have just been like, I could have come off with like my pinky up. I could be like, actually, the whole quote is that. And then I just seemed like a real dick. But it would have been a counter dick to their dick, theta D, which would have been, I'm just saying, it probably would have been nice to have known the whole quote before like 2 days ago. That makes me feel better about not being a master idiot. Exactly. Exactly. You can use a quote to push any narrative. True. True. If y'all didn't see, he just dropped that mold on screen. And yeah, he's about to do the thing.
I just did it.
Well, not yet. You still got to capture them all
Oh,
and
right,
make them.
right,
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm paying
right, right,
attention. I'm paying attention. um,
right. Okay, well, that's sort of a mold.
Notre David. It would have been better if you had actually said fake news. If you had just been like, that statement is fake news. But let's not get into that. Anyway, let's see. Really justified that have no follow through to get truly good at anything. I see. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. But then again, everything has to kind of fit within its own. It has its everything has its validity in a situation, the circumstances. Because I mean, if you're working on something and you know you're a master of sculpting, but you don't know logic and you need logic, that's bad news. But if you're a person who's okay with all of it, you can still kind of make it work. So it's like those things. It's one of the main reasons people try to, get collaborations going within Dreams. Is just like, yeah, I can't, I'm not good at this. I need help. But then when they can't find that help, then it becomes a man. I wish I was, you know, good at more than what I am. And you can learn, you can, but sometimes you're here what you're here for. In my opinion, let me put it that way, because the idea of doing logic literally makes me want to not do anything. That's it's just the way my brain works. It makes it so unfun for me. But I'm still trying to learn it. So yeah, jack of all trades can make a good game. That's saying. I
I had a
enjoy.
short film called Jack of All Trades.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah, it's like a 1 minute action film that I
It,
filmed with a bunch of friends over the weekend.
I wish I had
I
friends. No, I'm just.
Of course you have friends.
I wish I wasn't alone. No, I'm just playing. Awesome. Where can we find this?
If you go onto my Instagram, I believe it's there. If I haven't archived it,
Is your Instagram JC Art as well?
it's underscore Jhaycee underscore.
Sir, you gotta conform those names, bro. Yep. Actually, you don't. I'm just because there's, I mean, you, it's a good practice, but if something existed before you did the thing, like before you made like your account, it's just annoying to try to move stuff over.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. I bet I can simplify logic for you and make it fun. False. I will never. Noter. I love you. You're a good dude. I don't believe you. I'm just gonna throw that out. I'm up to see the challenge. I mean, I love that you take that challenge upon your own shoulders, but I have such it just no. I'm not gonna put it that way because that could be offensive to people. Which normally I wouldn't care about, but I understand why it could be offensive. All I'm gonna say is I'm not built like that, but we'll see. Let's see. But harder to make an excellent game, part of an excellent game. Awesome. But yeah, I mean, I am up for learning. I just, as far as like getting better at it, it's just there are times when I'm just like, I don't want to work on that. I want to do this. And being stuck at that moment where you kind of like have to do it, that just annoys me and shuts me down to an extent. But I've been getting better. All right, I'm drinking milk. Okay, I'm growing. I'm growing, and it doesn't come off as whiny as it like in real life as it just did. But things are getting better, except for the fact that I haven't been doing anything except trying to heal. But we'll talk about that later. You're not the guy, pal. No, yeah, I mean anybody who wants to use their time to try to teach me, I'll respect it. I'm just saying that I think my aversion to how much I hate it, I think that it might come off worse than I would want it to. it might be something where it's just like, I thought I could teach him, but he's a stubborn a-hole. So, whatever. But hey, we'll get to it. You're going to be the jack of all trades masterclass. That's going to be you, Notre Dame. That's going to be you. Notre wasn't built for logic either. He used to hate it. Yeah, that's what he tells me. Jesus Christ. I think it's getting so hot in this room that I think my nose is starting to run. That leftover COVID. No. For those that didn't know, your boy had COVID after staying free for 2.5 years, being on break from the rest of society for closer to 3 years. And my roommate went to a church vacation thing with his family, and he came back with that vid. And he had your boy out here because, I'm at risk. So he had your boy out here mad as hell. Mad as hell. Let's see. Oh, no. Falcon Ridge. Okay, so no, I know that about you already. I remember his first lesson, says Falcon Ridge. Jack of all trades, master of none class. Falcon Ridge, I think he quit after 15 minutes. Yeah, that feels, I mean, I don't blame him. That feels right to me. It's like, I don't know, because like we've had Acert on, and Acert did a fantastic job teaching. And I felt like I have, like, you guys don't understand how messed up my brain is. Like, I think in logic. I'll actually be sitting in bed, and while still not being able to do logic, I'll still try to work through and think out how logic would work. And I'm like, well, maybe I can do this. And I'm not sure. I'm just making up things in my head. But it doesn't replace the fact that I'd rather just have Acert do it. Now I know there's the whole parable of, you know, give a person a fish or teach them to fish. So I'm not trying to look down on anybody, but how much, like, I'm just trying to explain my aversion to it. And my aversion to it is mostly like you know, I'd rather just have someone who knows what they're doing do it, and then we can move on to the next thing. Like, like, I feel like in time I'll pick up all of it, but if if teaching me to do it is gonna make something that you can do in 5 minutes take God knows how long, probably, to teach me. I'm like, yo, just do it, man. But then again, that's how it works in the paid business. Like, yeah, if you're paying somebody for their time, yeah, they just do it. We're kind of working on the honor system with with most of the things we're trying to get help with. But I get all my good ideas in bed right before I fall asleep. Then I write them down. Nice. Yeah, I get all my good ideas when I'm not able to do anything with them, and then I forget. Until one day I'll just be like, oh yeah, I wanted to try that. That's kind of how the way you're doing these shingles. I'm a fan.
Uh, yeah, they're just pretty simple.
Now I'm still paying attention to you. I'm just, I know it sounds like I'm going off the cuff,
It,
but I'm
no,
trying
it's all
not.
good.
But I'm trying to let you create freely without having to answer everything for me. Notre Dame, if you have a good foundation, but I think that ACERT's proficiency can be intimidating to someone without base level understanding. I'm speaking from experience because ACERT was my first teacher. I hear you. I hear you. I love I love the way this is coming together for you, Jhaycee.
Thank you.
It really is good. And that's the other thing. I'm also trying not to get mesmerized by what you're working on and stop talking, and just be one quiet podcast. But
I mean, again,
yeah.
you can always ask me other questions if you want. I feel like I'm better
So,
at answering questions if I'm doing something.
oh wow, that's not me. That's that's why that's why I don't play games on my channel, because if I'm playing a game, I'm so focused I don't
Yeah.
speak. I just sit here with stupid looks on my face. When people are like, "Dude, is he frozen?" Like, no. I just I just do that. But okay, well, once you're finished with the well, no, you said it's best to ask you while you work. So what's the biggest like, if you had to cookie cut lighting right down to its bare bones, what's the most important thing to understand past this is where I want my shadows?
Um, Having a good variety of shadows is good, but again, it also depends on what you're trying to go for in the end result.
Do you mean shadow
Because
values, or do you mean just
in terms of just like appeal to the final image, because if you look at it like right now, you can tell there's not much shadows going on, so it doesn't look as appealing. It looks very flat in the foreground. But if I were to add some lights, let's see where I can add some lights. that makes sense. Of course,
Yeah.
lighting also has to make sense because if I'm lighting like this and you can clearly see the sources, the sun right over here, it
Yeah.
doesn't make too much sense in terms of the scene.
It's true.
So I try to keep everything where the source is. So now it's starting to look sort of appealing after adding that one light,
Yeah.
and the shadows are all still going the same direction roughly.
Okay. All right. And
But
how do you choose your camera composition?
I like to do that during blocking. So after I'm done blocking, I just jump into the camera and I just look at every different angle until I find one that suits uh, what I like. And the camera position that I had, this one,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it appeals to me more than all the other camera positions that I had. Because I could
No.
go something like above, but I'm not too into it right now.
Yeah.
Or I could do something like this, get this kind of camera position, but no, right now I'm pretty satisfied with where my camera is. Everything, all this camera position, lighting, where the key is coming from is all done within blocking.
Do you do you have specific camera settings that you use that aren't stock, like, just, of course it depends on, what you're showing, but
Yeah.
at the same time, do you have, like, I've seen people who have like their own filter kind of like settings for their cameras, and it's basically what they use every time they use a camera to give like surreal looks, or something. Like, do you have, I guess, a lens you like to shoot through when you're setting up your scene?
Well, I like to go with a more like shallow depth of field when
Mm-hmm.
I look through the camera. So if I had something that looks like this, I'd be happy with, but I don't think I can actually achieve that look if I try to adjust all these camera settings. Like if I try to adjust the aperture, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I can sort of get it, but it's not as smooth. But other than that, in terms of the field of view, I like to try to mimic lenses. So back when I did film, I used to shoot a lot on the 35 millimeter because that's sort of the same focal length that our eyes have.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of like translating 35 millimeters into this degrees, I just look on the internet what 35 millimeters would be like in a degree.
Nice.
Yeah.
Take notes. Let's see here. People working, it's Pixel Juice said, people working with moves is so hypnotic for some reason, and I agree. Falcorich, is it me or does JC sound a lot like Saku? I think that's just you. I'm not sure. Did anyone confirm? He doesn't sound like Saku to me. But yeah.
No, we're not the same person.
uh,
We're both the passionate artists doing what we love.
and Falcorich is asking for Pixel Juice's, or it's Pixel Juice's MM secrets. Let's see. I used to hate moves. Then once I got used to them, I find them so useful. Once I get some that work, I feel like I'll be there with you. It's gonna be a y'all are gonna hear me going ape trying to learn everything to get used to them. But once I'm there, I feel like it's gonna be a step up with PSVR 2. Got to make sure to add the 2 on there.
Yeah, what happened with your moves? I heard that they like
Okay.
flicker
They
because I
so
may have a fix for them
oh boy, here we go.
that
No,
we can talk about afterwards.
it no matter what room I'm in, how much
Yeah.
light or non-light I have, they just they they don't track well. Like
Okay.
I can't, like, trying to move within a, like, the depth of field, or like have them be where I want them to be. It's just like it's not reading them. I'm talking about when I was on PS4. I am on PS5 now, but I never had a PSVR, so I can't get the adapter that you need to be able to use the old moves on the new PS5. So I'm just waiting for PSVR 2. But yeah. Yeah, but when I was on PS4, I just could not get them to act right. I changed 5 different rooms. I changed 5 different rooms, 4 different TVs. I tried everything I could to get them to work, and they just would not work. And so I just stopped. I gave up. But being that they're not going to be running off of a camera this time around, I feel like there's going to be a better chance that they're going to be a lot more accurate in the way they track. Wait, will moves work with the new PSVR? No, no, not that. At least from what I heard, no. Because they're tracked in a different way. Like it's not running off of the camera thing anymore. So that's at least what I heard. As we all know, I'm no technical guru. But yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. And you know, I'm just gonna mention it. I'm not gonna go into it. But guys, the unbelievable happened. Okay? The unbelievable has happened. I was watching IGN like a week ago, and the dude who did Jonathan Dornbush actually brought up Dreams. My conspiracy has been thwarted. He actually mentioned it.
Like
Wow.
briefly or what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was brief as hell. Don't get me wrong.
Did
It
he
was
just like say the word dreams and you're like, oh my god, he's talking about dreams?
I'll take it. He said the words. No, he actually brought up dreams because and this dreams, and it was just in passing, but he was talking about, but he brought up like that, Media Molecule continue to develop dreams and, the community. And I was just like, you finally said it. After literally a year of me messaging them, and in the comments, they finally brought up dreams. Because I know y'all are like, why are you so salty about this? But it's just, I can't imagine, personally, I can't imagine talking about PlayStation VR and not mentioning dreams. I just can't. I don't understand how someone can do it. Like,
True.
it's like, I know people love Half-Life Alyx and all that other stuff, but like, and I'm not saying it's not, the Half-Life Alyx isn't good, but if there is a selling point for PSVR, in my opinion, not just because I run a show about dreams, but just because of what's possible in dreams, and there's nothing else like it on consoles. You would think that you can't mention VR in on PlayStation without bringing up dreams. Yet they put out a video that was specifically about what to look forward to in VR, and they did not even hiccup dreams. They didn't even bring up Media Molecule, and I'm like, how is that possible? So it's more me just like, they do what they do. Who gives? It's IGN. But it just seems so weird to me. It's like it's like having a conversation of who's considered the best directors in film and not mentioning Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Like you just, that's how egregious it is to me. But I understand that could just be me. Let me see. Duckonomic Dreams creators are the only people in the world who are sad that moves won't be supported. For everyone else, it makes perfect sense. It's Pixel Juice. Mighty has Dreams sensors where whenever someone mentions it anywhere in the world, they find out. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, it's I just like as I tell people, we talk all the time on the podcast about dreams as it stands right now is a miracle that it can even work on a console, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If nothing changed ever, if updates stopped, please God no, but if updates stopped, what has already been provided by Media Molecule is beyond amazing. And the only way, like, I have to believe that people just don't know. And so when there are people in the gaming space who talk about innovative things and then they don't bring up dreams, I have to believe it's because they don't know. And so that's one of the main reasons I do the show, is because it's not impossible for them not to know. Now, IGN, if I had power, they'd know. They'd hear my thoughts because I've done everything to try to even get on their PlayStation podcast. To just, I know I'm not big enough. I don't have blue hair. I don't have a huge community, but I have a beloved community.
Wait. Did you say you don't have blue hair?
Yeah, yes, I did, and yes, that is exactly mentioning what you think. It's just, I'm sorry, but I'm not a meme. I'm not a meme lord. Okay, and
Okay.
I'm not a meme lord, and nor do I want to be. So but I've tried to I've emailed IGN. I've tried to see what the rules are for getting on. Just like next time y'all have a talk about what to look forward to on PlayStation, just holla at your boy. Or if you just want to have a show where you just talk completely about dreams, like, yo, this guy has been badgering us for months. We want him to come on and tell us what's so great about dreams. Like, even if you want to throw me under the bus, I'll take it. Just it bothers me. Okay. I mean, I'm sure y'all know by now. Y'all are here. It bothers me because there's just so many people doing amazing things. And I want to be able to go, hey, look at these people. Not even at me. Don't look at me. Don't ask what I'm doing. But just there's so many people doing amazing things, and it's such a tool for education, for learning, for developing skills. Like it fit all of the boxes that it ticked all of the boxes that I wanted ticked for gaming, because some of the most unevolved and forgotten about aspects of gaming is the educational route, and Dreams has that. So anyway, that rant over. They mentioned it, and I was just like, oh my god, finally they said something. Yes, the Dreams tingles. So
Well, I totally agree that Dreams is very good at as an educational tool as well, because I have an animation class in school,
mhm.
and all the animation stuff that they're teaching right now, I got because of Dreams. If I worded that correctly.
Yeah,
Like
it's just
all
you
the stuff
didn't
about
start from scratch. You had a point of reference.
which one?
No, I'm saying you had a point of reference when they were bringing up techniques. Like you weren't just
Oh,
jumping
yes.
in blind.
Yes. Like stuff about using IK versus FK, and how IK is a lot more expensive in terms of memory and stuff.
Yeah,
It's just all of that.
it
Like
pits, pit,
if I went to school without Dreams, I definitely think I would be going in blind and losing myself. pretty much, and all this information.
Yeah. I mean,
So
that's the way it's just. Yeah. I mean, you guys have had 80 episodes of me screaming about this. So 81 before now, to be exact. I just. It's so weird to me. Like, as much as it's appreciated. Yeah, it's pixel juice. I agree with Jay. I'm learning all these terms thanks to dreams. Yeah. And you know, I just it should be in every school. Okay, I said it. I'm out. Let's move on to a different
it should.
topic.
It
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 should
totally
literally
should.
be in every school. Every school. Like study hall should be dreams time. That's like just and it's its own thing. You develop your skills. I'm just saying. That's how it should be. So when you're building this scene right now, Jay, are
Yeah.
you like you blocked out, but then you're adding in these details? Did you have an understanding of like what you wanted, or are you still building things like this rock border like from reference, or is it just like, hey, I think that'll look good? Like, how are you coming to that decision?
Well, from a lot of buildings and sort of this style and at this during like this time period, a lot of buildings have like this cobblestone foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I got this idea out of, and I've like constantly been applying it. And
Oh,
like I would also agree that in Minecraft, like basic houses also use a cobblestone foundation. So that's
yeah.
also where I've been applying this.
So, what's the draw of Minecraft? If you had to
What's the
explain, if you had to explain to me why someone should play Minecraft, and I'm not saying this to throw shade, it's because
okay?
I literally don't get it. Like I said, I'm a dust blood. I'm old, and I see what people build in Minecraft, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But
Mm.
when I think about actually I think I think I downloaded Minecraft like 6 years ago. Like opened it up, saw how it worked, and I was just like, nah. This is this like people are bored. That's why they're building all this stuff. Like I'm like, this can't be what it is. But so I would say, what's the draw for me, a person who's a non-believer? Make me believe.
Okay, well, I haven't touched Minecraft in like a few years, so I'm just going based off of what I used to build in Minecraft. But I don't know. Minecraft is like its own niche, like its own style too. It's just like hard to explain to someone who doesn't enjoy like the basis of Minecraft, which is like gathering survival stuff and then building off of that. I don't know.
I like it. This tic tac toe board type thing you're doing.
This,
Yes.
yeah, a lot of buildings in this time period have this sort of grid system going on.
Okay, Duckonomics said Minecraft is not great as a game, quote unquote game. It's more of a sandbox with some RPG elements. If you want a more traditional game experience in that style, play Terraria. I have not played Terraria. I have
Neither
seen it
have
a
I.
lot,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. You've built this in no time at all. Like, I feel like most people would be happy with just this. Like like as it is right now. Most people would be like, I did it. I've I've achieved this day. Um
Well, I definitely say that like the direction that I'm going, I am liking it. I could definitely add some more stuff to it, but more like details would take like a lot more time, which I don't want to take up in the podcast. So
Okay.
I'm just
Well,
going like off of what I would consider a finished but not detailed piece. But
I mean, you do have a very optimized style though in building. Like, can I see your
thermal.
yeah, let me see that thermo.
Uh, well, right now it's pretty high, mostly because of I believe this cobblestone.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
let's see.
I mean,
And again, just because this is like an art piece, I don't care much about thermo.
yeah.
If it was like for a game, of course I would
Oh yeah.
worry more.
Yeah.
Like
I'm just saying
all this
I'd
stuff
probably
like
make
here, I
half.
would
No, it wouldn't be
right.
half. It'd be like one building, and I'd probably be at 98% thermo. So
Oh,
it's just still getting that optimization under control.
yeah. Definitely is possible to make this like at least 10, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try optimizing it after I finish this part.
No, yeah. Well, all right. Do you think? Do you think? So, let me see. Falconrich. I don't do Minecraft, but my relatives do. Think part of it is community and simplicity. Well, simplicity is good. I agree to that. It's pixel juiced. When are we getting Mighty to recreate this after Jay? Okay, I'm not recreating this. And being that I'm still working with a fractured collarbone, which is why you see me wince every now and again because my arm is trying to detach. I took off the sling for the podcast. But there are going to be some changes happening to the podcast and to this channel. And one of those changes is going to be the fact that I am going to start doing more streams of gameplay as far as or creation from my end. I was able to get my hands on an Elgato. I have it hooked up so that I can capture straight from the PlayStation into my PC. I already have the setups for it. There's going to be quite a bunch of stuff showing up on this channel that has not previously existed. So just keep your eye out for that as, yeah, we're going to be expanding a lot of things around here. Duckonomics Terraria has great combat, tons of weapons, boss fights, and lots to explore that actually provides value instead of a bunch of cosmetics and ores that you already have too much of, and good mods. I don't know about Minecraft mods. I, if it's on PC, I just expect all the mods to be insane. Personally, like it's if you have a community, then there's gonna be some mods for everything under the sun. I mean, take Sekiro, they turned the snake into Thomas the Engine. It's like it's or Skyrim where they turned the dragon into Macho Man Randy Savage. Like there's if you're on PC, people are gonna do tons of craziness. My first sculpt was a 100% thermo Golden Gate bridge. I probably would have only been able to make one segment of it, and it would have hit 100. I've literally made a square, like a square panel, metal panel, and making four of them, and I mean small panels. They've been like 100 thermo. I've gotten better, mind you, but I've done some pretty impressive thermo abuse with like very little. I couldn't sculpt anything when I got dreams. I had to just spend months doing text adventures. Hey, there's some good text adventures. Some good text adventures out here. So Huh. Going for more of that fleck painterly look for the grass areas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, that's not working.
X-nay on that. Dreams was my first attempt to do art other than drawing as a young kid. Love to see it. Love to see it. You gonna give us some stylized blades of grass?
Trying to. I'm like actually struggling right now.
Hey, the struggle is real. It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Dreams was on for. Let's see. All right.
Oh my god, please ask me a question. This is like very embarrassing. I'm just trying to figure out how to create grass.
I would, but I'm also trying to see how you're working on doing it.
Okay, this is a bush right
Yes,
now.
that's a bush.
This is a bush. I like the bush.
Yes, all creative struggle. Thank you, Falcarich. That's definitely true. I think the way I would try to do it is probably use your mold technique and like I would make do a mold technique and then I would probably draw out the like the blade of grass and then like copy it infinitely. It it's like and then just put a patch somewhere. Be like, "Yep, grass. That's it." Yeah, that's the way.
Maybe I'll try that way.
Looks
But
looks good.
I'm starting to vibe with this bush actually.
Yeah, that bush is nice. Very nice.
Uh, uh, uh.
I've lost I've lost the script. Oh, we're going all up. Okay, all right.
Adding some foliage.
I just thought of a great use for the lumen noise toggle. If you make a big hollow sphere for a skybox, normally it looks flecky, but if you turn off lumen noise and inner sculpt tint it or inner sculpt tint, it will look like a totally smooth sky. Yeah. I would have to I would say though, why use well, there's always a use case for it. There's always a
Mm.
use case for any technique. So I mean, I don't want my question to come off sounding like a you know like I don't know enough to question you on
No, go ahead. It's
anything.
okay.
No, not you, Duckonomics,
Oh,
who said the thing about the skybox. It's like once people figured out how to make the sky less flecky, like just with the gadget,
yeah.
like I've always wondered what's the use of using like a skybox. Could it's but I'm sure someone has a use. It's like once they made it so you could have like a solid color. I never thought of people using an actual like hollowed out sculpt skybox anymore. But once again, that's probably just me being, not knowledgeable. So Sun and Sky Gadget Sky Color affects the color of the scene. I want a blue sky, but I don't want a blue scene. See? So simple. Makes perfect friggin' sense. Makes perfect sense. Thank you for answering my question. Thank you, Duckonomics. because obviously I did not know, and that makes perfect sense. You can paint on a sky, but there's that too. I'm gonna tell you, I completely love the light images, but as I said before, the only problem I have with them when I was trying to use them to create like a game level, because I
Yeah.
was like, what if every detail is done with a light gadget, not necessarily a sculpted detail. And I really liked playing around with that idea. But I was like, I wish there was a way to have light in the scene not actually hit everything that the light hits. Like if you had a character running under a light that had that, or a light source that had that image, if the character could be protected from that light's image, so that it like as you're doing crazy things with the light, it wouldn't go ape. But yeah.
Um, yeah, I definitely have some trouble with using all these light images. For some scenes, I've actually had to block it out manually, like with using primitive shapes.
Hmm.
So just like stuff like this, if I want to create a hard edge, I have to do stuff like that. But now it's in the scene, so now I have to move the light further because if I try like making it invisible or it's a, but it still doesn't work. I still haven't figured out like a proper way to flag lights so that I can create the actual light shape that I want.
Um, you're familiar with Bad Robo, right?
Yeah.
I mean, his the technique he uses for God rays would probably be the way to do that. I can't instruct you further, but that's but because of the way he uses like the shapes, and he like, what was it? It's like he'll use a shape, but then he'll loosen the shape.
Are you talking about like achieving God rays?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Like
I see.
but would that work in the same way you're trying to use the shape? Because
Uh,
it does kind of block out. It does kind of create that mask of of light.
not so much because what he's achieving is like volumetric lighting. But what I was like explaining was just like manually flagging out lights to the shape that I want. So if I change this image back to this default one,
Just to interrupt for a second, Notre Dame said at the bottom of the first page you can make it cast shadows while invisible.
oh, that always? Is that what he means? Oh, it does. Okay, well, that solved that problem. But
Hey, Notre Dame, Jack. We're just gonna start calling him Jack.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
dab on him.
this is what like I was explaining, like just manually flagging out the light so that I can achieve the light shape that I want. But what he does is completely different. He's just achieving volumetric lighting, which is very pleasing to the eyes.
It's very pleasing to me. Yes, it's fantastic.
Okay, I don't like that.
Very nice.
Yeah, this is sort of like a big rough with lighting.
Awesome. Guys in chat, do you have any questions for him? Just put it in chat at me if I somehow missed it. and we'll go into a question section while we finish up. But is this where you wanted to stop for this one? Because it looks great.
Uh, yeah, this is where I can stop. I don't want to take up too much time.
Hey, we're here for you. Yeah, yeah. All right. So I'll just say, if you want to work further, we can do that. And Cynic said, beautiful scene, clapping. So, yes, I agree. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if no questions, I'm going to throw this one up on you before we end for today.
Okay.
All right. I said to that we would have an off to. Oh, wait, we got a question. Will you help me work on my MMORPG Fully Made in Dreams? It's releasing next week. Lol.
I haven't started yet, though. No.
But it's releasing next week. I thought it was serious for a second, and then I'm like, wait, Fully Made in Dreams releasing next week. Oh, that's funny. So, do you have a topic? Do you have something? It can be dreams related, non dreams related. Do you have a topic that you want to spend our last 10 to 15 minutes on?
I can talk about more about like my transition from dreams to traditional, what it took going from dreams to traditional, what kinds of things I've taken from dreams and applied it to traditional. I can talk about like all of that kind of stuff because
Falco says,
I'm sure a lot of people who use
mm,
dreams want to work in the industry, but they don't know like or they might not know like the steps they need to take to go that route
oh,
or like
well,
how effective dreams can be to going into traditional.
by all means, please go into that. And but before Falco asked, what new feature do you want in dreams?
Oh me, I want the ability to merge sculpts so that if that makes sense. Like instead of grouping different sculpts into one asset, just being able to merge those two assets into one sculpt so that when you go into sculpt mode into that one, you can then just adjust it
Interesting. I haven't heard that
because
one yet.
you can do that in Maya and it's pretty useful.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
bake to bake, but for sculpts, yeah.
All right. Merge sculpt would be nice. Yeah, I don't think I've actually heard that one, that request yet. But yeah, that's something that you can also do in Blender. That
Mhm.
yeah, that could be very helpful. Um, so yeah, go ahead. Go. I'm gonna be quiet. You go into that topic and talk about it with the people. This is your time.
Okay. Yeah, so just like deciding to go into school because I wanted to pursue like continue pursuing the games industry as an environment artist. I gained like a bunch of knowledge just by sculpting and doing many different things within dreams, as well as like developing my own art style, which is very important if you want to become like a 3D artist. Um, so like the many different techniques that I've applied in dreams, like what I've shown in my demonstration, I also apply in traditional art. I don't know if it's the correct or like cheapest way to do it in terms of memory and in terms of vertices when you're sculpting or when you're modeling in Maya,
Mm-hmm.
but I've definitely taken a lot of the techniques that I've learned in dreams from all the different tutorials that I've seen as well, from like Saku to Bad Robo and to other dreamers. I've been able to effectively apply that to all my scenes that I have now made in Maya. And like other aspects of dreams, like the animation side, the logic side. Like logic in dreams is all node based, and I'm able to apply that to Nuke, which is also node based. So all
Yeah.
the stuff that I do in Nuke, it's pretty much sort of the same. It's just like you're not dealing with the mathematics now, you're just dealing with the art side of nodes. And for animation, again, dealing with IK versus FK, the difference between both, like the different costs it take to go from IK to FK, like how you would use IK and FK, like all of that stuff I've been able to apply to all my traditional stuff that I've been learning.
And has it worked the other way as well, where just more knowledge on the other side from traditional, bringing that back into dreams when you do work?
That not so much actually.
Really?
Because
Oh.
yeah, because traditional is like it is a lot more complicated than doing stuff in dreams. So it's hard to go from what's industry standard complexity to simplicity. It's hard to definitely merge that, especially when you're dealing with more numbers and you're dealing with properties in Maya. You can't translate that back to dreams.
I would have thought that it's kind of like uh, just being able to see or just learning like more techniques and then trying to bring them back into dreams. Like, yeah, it may be more complex, but I would have thought that there would have, maybe there will be in the future, but yeah, maybe just the way it breaks down that it just doesn't come back the other way. I just feel like
Yeah.
there are people who have gotten like, who are have a much better understanding and grasp of dreams because of what they've done before in these other programs, whether it makes it easier or, you know, whatever. So, man, I mean, that's
Well, it
surprising.
yeah, it could work for them, but like right now where I'm at, it doesn't translate going from traditional back to dreams and learning, yeah, like applying all those techniques I've learned with traditional.
And Duckonomics says traditional art requires more technical knowledge that isn't transferable to other software or art forms. All right. All right.
Yeah.
So, with that, what's the path? You said that you were going to go over the path of what's the next step to take to get there.
Oh,
What's the
yes.
process?
So depends on what exactly you want to do. If you want to become an environment artist, you I would say you definitely have to learn traditional software because as of now, dreams can't be used in that sense. But if you like develop your own art style within dreams, it's easily transferable to traditional stuff. If you want to pursue animation, you could definitely use dreams and easily learn that in traditional software because animating in Maya is actually a lot more simpler than I thought it'd be. So I've seen like a bunch of animators in dreams. I definitely think if they wanted to pursue animation in the industry, they definitely could like very easily because of how similar the animation tools are from dreams to traditional. And
As I've dabbled in other animation softwares, um, yeah, that would be something. They're all pretty much the same
yeah,
in the way that they work. It's just whether or not you can learn how they work. So to create good enough animation. So yeah, I'd imagine that'd be transferable. Huh.
yeah,
Sure.
but
Go
and
ahead.
like for people that again just want to learn environment art or like basic modeling, definitely try to learn more traditional software because it is transferable from dreams. Like you'd think it's not because of you're using a controller versus using a mouse and keyboard, but it is simple. You just have to put in the time and the hours and just continuously practice. If you're passionate about it, you'll definitely get there. I know I know you will.
So how do you do it without putting in the hours, though? Give us the secrets. No, I'm just.
You can't.
You can't. That's the
You
secret.
can't.
Yeah, you got to put in the work. Uh, sorry, that grimace. That's the old collarbone. Um, so, all right. Well, with that, we've reached the end. Unless you want to go back to question people as far as our pre-show conversation of of, of talking about gaming. No, I'm just playing. Y'all have to go back to the pre-show countdown to see what I was complaining and being a bad gamer about. But yeah, thank you for joining us. I hope your educational, growth continues to go. You get to what you want to do. I'm sad to see you
Thank
step away from cinematography. I'm not gonna let it go. But I'm
Hey,
glad that what?
like I love cinematography enough that if I had the chance and if this route doesn't go well, I'd definitely become like a cinematographer again, but on the 3D side. Like for all 3D animations, there is still a cinematographer. I
Yeah.
definitely do stuff like that.
All right. Well, with that, he's there's a chance. That's what he's telling us. There's a chance. But yeah, I hope you continue with your growth. I'm glad to hear success stories always, with especially like using dreams to get into uh, or as a portfolio to basically push yourself forward. It's
Mm.
fantastic stuff. And thank you for the sculpt today because that looks beautiful. Just sitting here, just looking at it. Just even though I went back to this, I wanted to keep it on the screen instead of just going straight back to our cameras because that's fantastic. And I hope everybody had fun. I hope everybody liked seeing the sculpt and enjoyed the episode. We'll be back with the reveal that I talked about earlier, being that I'm not gonna open it without Jammy being here because you guys and Jammy, we're all part of the team. We all won an MP. We all won an MP.
I
And
wish I won one too.
I want to share that with everyone here, bro. All you have to do is be in chat when we do reveal it, and you won an MP. There you go. It's
Hell
right there
yeah.
for you. The community won an MP. Everybody can feel great about it. The sad part, though, is that we didn't know which one of us was gonna get the MP, and the plan was I have a friend who has a toy company, and he does. He basically can make replicas, but he works at a specific scale. So I was like, if we get the Impy, whoever doesn't get the Impy can basically get a mold of it and the replica made, and we'll just have like one that's like super creative, like a clear Impy with a universe inside of it, which I still want to do actually, but the scale, this thing is bigger than we knew it was going to be. I've seen them, but I didn't know how
Mm.
big this thing was. And it's just outside of the scale that my friend can make. So
Oh wow.
we're going to have to figure out either a way to get Jammy a version of it, or I might just have to pay my friend to try to upsize his scale or something. Because, yeah, I don't want to be the only person that got this MP, like, because it is teamwork. And I
Mm.
know it sounds corny, but we ain't getting this MP without all of you guys. And I definitely wouldn't have this show going at the strength it's gone for 82 episodes without Jammy. So we'll figure that out. But the actual reveal will come once Jammy can join us again, not from the parking lot of a hospital with the worst camera ever. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you everybody for joining us. I know that was a weird ending, but you I told y'all, man, I had COVID, I have a fractured collarbone. I finally got my joints to not inflame from losing weight. So I'm just happy to be here again. So don't mind me, but love you all. We'll see you next week. Oh, no.
Uh,
No, we're not gone yet. Never mind. That was a fake ending.
oh,
It was fake news. Tell the people where they can find you and your work.
yeah. So on Twitter, you can follow me at Jhaycee Art. That's JHAYCEEART. On Instagram, it's underscore JC underscore. On YouTube, it's just JC Caranoo. That's all.
All right, fantastic. Now we can actually end. Thank you, everybody. And if you hold on, I'll be shifting all over to another dreamer. Peace out.
Bye.